So we're also honored to be joined by two participants in the MassNextGen program. We've heard so much from Kenn and Secretary Howe about the impact we hope that this program will have on the state and our ability to continue to attract diverse talent to Massachusetts and talent that's successful. So I want to start with the awardees. I know you each have a different story, and the program has meant different things to you. So, Virginia, why don't we start with you? What has been the benefit of participating in the MassNextGen program?
So for me, I started in 2020, which was during the pandemic, and so it was very hard to meet other people, and especially other founders. It was all very just everybody knows what the pandemic was like. And so it was just incredible to be introduced to a network of other female founders and actually hear their experiences, because I was in an accelerator with all men, and when they'd go to VC meetings, they'd come back and just have different reports of how it went than when I'd go. And it was just really useful to hear what other women were going through and be able to figure out, like, okay, this is my perspective as a woman, this is how men are taking this, and put together whether I was doing okay or not. And we did. We raised a wonderful round, and it was really through support of both the mentors and the coaches, but also this peer network. And I've been super, super close to the peer network the entire time. One of my peers is here in the audience, and we had a great meeting this morning about like where our companies are, and it's just been really nice. One of us said, and it really stuck with me, that being a CEO and being a founder is really lonely, but we don't feel lonely. We feel like we have each other.
We're just getting to know each other now, so it's a great opportunity. For my company, RebootRx, being part of the MassNextGen program was really transformative for us. It came at a pivotal time in our growth. So we're a nonprofit that's repurposing generic drugs to create affordable cancer treatments, and we've developed AI technology to be able to identify the most promising drugs for repurposing. And when we started the program, we had created the foundation for our technology. And with the support and funding that we received from the program, we were able to do our first deployment for our first cancer type and identify the top generic drugs for repurposing. And that has opened up so many doors for us. We've now started collaborations, for example, with the Veterans Health Administration to move our drugs into larger clinical trials and the standard of care. And it's just been very transformative for our organization. So it's a wonderful program.
So it's great to hear about how transformative the program has been for your companies and how personally it's given you the tools to navigate kind of the VC world and to develop that network. As you're looking out at the audience here, and if you had kind of one thought on what was the lesson learned? What was the biggest lesson learned that you got from the program? Or maybe another way to ask the question is, what was that aha moment for you in the program?
Yeah, the two aspects of the program that were most impactful for us was one, the one-on-one coaching. There were amazing coaches available to us, and even now we've been out of the program for over a year. I'm still getting help from some of those mentors on a pretty regular basis, helping us develop our strategy, making really key introductions even to those who have become funders of ours. And by the way, we're a not-for-profit company, so we don't have investors, but we have donors. And that mentorship was even more helpful because we are this unique type of organization, looking with having different strategy and also different funding mechanisms. And then the second aspect that was really helpful was the executive coaching that we received with the other entrepreneurs as a group. And that really helped me become a better leader, understand how I can help my team be as successful as possible.
And for me, it definitely was the executive coaching, like just learning how to go from being a team member to being a leader. And we did a lot of work on communication and just different communication styles within the team. And at New Equilibrium, we are a company that does AI and experiment. And so we have people who are very computational, we have theoretical physicists, we have AI modelers, and then we've got people in the wet lab. And it's all ages, all backgrounds, and just a lot of different ways to communicate. And so learning how to interact with different people in a productive way and get everybody to be motivated, it's a lot of a learning, and I found the executive coaching really helpful there. And I also found it helpful in just remembering that when a seed investment comes in, they're investing in the founder, and in the next round, they're investing in the team. And so the job between those two rounds is like building up a team, but also always remembering that like you're the founder and it's your idea and you know best. And so there's all this advice, but the best advice is probably your own, and you should find people who are advisors and have the same ideas and can support you in what you think is right, as opposed to kind of flip-flopping. And so that's been a big learning for me.
Having the confidence in your idea and living with it. What, before we turn it back to Kenn and Secretary Howe, what advice would you give to future participants in MassNextGen?
I would give the advice to just really remember, like, what are the things you need to show? What are the data points that you think are most important, and get that backed up by whoever your customers are. But just really focusing on that, and then bringing in mentors who support those goals is my big advice. And to take advantage of Massachusetts programs like the interns and everything. It's very handy.
Yeah, I would say looking to build really meaningful relationships and two-way relationships, both with mentors and fellow entrepreneurs. It's so important. We're all going through similar challenges, and being able to share with each other what we're going through, how we've solved problems is really helpful.